What's going on, everybody? It is April 5th, 2018. I had a very busy day. I had a couple sessions, as well as I had a photo shoot. Got my YouTube channel, getting that all set up, as well as got my album cover for my first EP shot today. So that's really cool. I also had a couple business meetings. Now, what we're going to talk about is artist style. So basically, what is artist style? Artist style is the individual, and it's pretty much a compilation of all their likes and dislikes, life experience, moods, all that put together, and what you're getting on display is the artist. Now, some artists are more of a persona, some artists are just being themselves, and all of it's cool. It's all a matter of if your message is getting across to the listener. All right? So, first thing we're going to talk about is an artist needs to have a vision. Now, why have a vision? A vision is essential because as life happens, it'll constantly try to knock you off your path. But if you have a goal in mind, you know how you can always realign yourself and take on your goals right on ahead, you know? So it's crucial that you kind of really just think to yourself and picture yourself where you're going to be in 5 years. I mean, what is your dream job? What is your goal? What do you want to achieve? You know, is it just purely something you want to do for fun, or is it something that you want to give back to the community? Is it something that you want to be global? You got to picture yourself in you got to picture yourself in these kind of situations, you know? Try to envision, if you want to be performing and selling out shows, then you got to picture yourself maybe, you know, in Giant Stadium at MetLife, performing at the 50-yard line, and it's a sold-out show. There's fireworks, people are screaming, you know, crazy flashing lights, all that. You got to picture that if that's your vision. And then after you come up with a vision, how you got to that moment, break it apart. How did I get there step by step? Did you go backwards? So maybe in order to be selling out a huge audience like a football stadium, well, then you probably are signed, you're signed to a major label, or you're signed to an indie label when you have mass distribution, or if you're even totally independent and, you know, you've done it yourself, whatever the idea is, you got there. Well, in order to get signed, I first need to get, I need publicity, I need to have exposure, I need to have a fan base, I need to have social media, all that. So now, how can I get a fan base? You could think, well, I need to do local shows. I need to advertise my doing flyers, advertise my shows with flyers, with, you know, getting a fan page like on a Facebook or Instagram, whatever it is, and start attracting people to your music. You know, a good idea is even, you know, figure out what genre of music you make, or an artist that's already established and you guys kind of fall into the same category. You could hit up, try to personally message their fans and tell them about your music. You know, that'd be an easy way to kind of acquire new fans because they are already familiar with that kind of sound. Now, going back to what I was just saying, break it apart. Are you performing on Saturday Night Live? Is that one way to get great exposure? Well, how do you do that? These are all things. You just got to ask yourself a bunch of different questions. Try to, you know, reverse engineer how you can accomplish your vision. What kind of image do you have? You know, what kind of music do you make? These are all important questions. What kind of influences, what are your influences? Do you listen to a lot of different music? Are you exposed to a lot of different music? Do you only really like listening to one kind of music and make that kind. These are things to think about. You know, me personally, I listen to anything and everything. I try not to be closed-minded to anything because I find that I learn from so much different genres of music. Even if I'm making trap beats or hip hop beats, pop beats, I might find some type of influence from a old traditional country song. You know, it's because that's how I've over the years been wiring my brain to think. It's just always, oh, how can I draw influence from this, or how can I, oh, this inspires me. I really like how that sound. Maybe what if I try that kind of sound with a hip hop beat? You know, that's just how my mind works. But you know, with what kind of music do you make? You know, what a good idea is just if you just had to turn on a radio, you found this crazy radio, and you can imagine one kind of song you've never heard before, and you just turn it on. What would that be? Is that what you would make? You know? So, do you play the guitar? Do you play the piano? Are you a singer? Are you a rapper? Are your influences those things? Are they completely opposite of that? Now, do you not even listen to that much music? You just love making music, and you draw most of your music inspiration from life. What are the life experiences that you draw most from and apply to your music? Why do you do that? There's a philosophy behind this. It's all about asking questions and digging deeper to get to know yourself and get to know, become familiar with what you are capable of doing, you know? So think about this too. An artist understands their likes and dislikes. So what kind of picture does the artist want to paint? They understand that. Even if it's from a subconscious level. Do they want to make something that's really aggressive? Do they want to make something that's in your face? Do they want to make something that's more chill, laid back, cool? Do they want to make something that will get people that are sitting up and start dancing? Would it get people to kind of just feel like they're tripping on acid? It's all the intentions of the artist. What kind of vibe do you go for? Are you going to be gloomy and eerie, kind of like a Radiohead? Or are you going to be more crazy, high energy like a Little John? Different sounds. One is using saws and saw synths, warm colors, bright colors, and trap drums. One is using jazz guitars and light drums with light chill dynamics. Totally different vibes, totally different artists. They have totally different visions for what they want. And equally, the music's reached thousands and thousands of people. You would be aware of what kind of tempos do you want. Do you want faster music? Do you want slower music? Do you want slower music, but you want to create the illusion that it's fast? Do you want fast music and create the illusion with your voice that it's slow? It's up to you. What kind of emotion are you trying to express in your music? Are you trying to make happier music? Are you trying to make sadder music? Are you trying to make music that, like the Outcasts can relate to? Are you trying to make music that would just play at a party, at a house party? Do you want to be creating vibes that create like memories? Do you want to be creating vibes or emotions that are more complex and make people want to ponder or think? Another thing an artist has is an identity. Whether it's rock, rap, pop, they all have an identity. Look at Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar kind of has the image of the intellectual. You listen to The Game, and it'd be more like gangster rap. You listen to the Arctic Monkeys, and you're going to be getting more of what's that like? that greaser 50s punk rock vibe. You're going to be listening to Led Zeppelin, you know it's classic rock. You're listening to Lil Uzi, you know it's that new school rap. And they all have an identity. So that it's up to you as an artist to kind of figure out your own. But my advice is be true to yourself. You know, figure out what you're comfortable with and who you are as a person, and that way you have a foundation. You know, if you're gonna be faking it, people will call you out on that, and you won't have a foundation to stand on. So just be true to yourself, and that way, when you get the negative feedback and the positive feedback, neither will affect you because you know who you are, and you know what your priorities are. What is your focus? Each song, have a focus. That I want this particular song to be a club song. I want this particular song to feel like a bunch of different genres. Maybe a little bit of rock in it, maybe a little bit of rap. It's all up to you. I'm actually running out of time here. I'll continue with this video. I have a few more topics to touch on tomorrow's video, alright? Have a good one. Bye.